dreams don't work unless you do.
We try so hard in our lives to fit in. We try to fit into certain groups, certain frats, certain sororities, you know, among certain friends, yet the people we idolize are the ones that stand out. But when you're prepared, there is no fear. There is no fear of failure, because even if you've walked out of something and you feel like you failed at it, your preparation is so strong that you're gonna take that failure and turn it into the outcome you desire. And most people stop at failure, okay? We've all failed at things. I'm gonna continue to fail at stuff, right? It's the most powerful tool you can use, but it all depends on how you use it.
What would your future be like if you decided to want that which you desire so strongly that it prepares you past your fears, that you experience the fear, as the one book says, feel the fear and do it anyway?
Life is 10% what happens to you, it's 90% what you do about it. No matter who you are, no matter where you are in life, you can take the lid off of your job. And if you're wondering if you still have the lid on in your life, here are some clues that's gonna let you know that the lid is still on. If you're not excited about waking up in the morning, if you're sitting around bored out of your mind, if you got time to do everything anybody asks you to do, you probably got the lid on. If when you tell your dreams to all your friends, it makes sense to them, you got your lid on, man. Your dreams should not make sense to everybody. You gotta say something that make people go, how you gonna do that? That's when you got the lid off. And if I were you, I'd do that. I'd take the lid off. Makes sense to me, don't it?
They're always gonna get ready to get set to get going. What we've gotta do is, boom, just like that, move into action.
Every time you remember your dream, you're removing some dirt. You're digging it back out. The true mark of a champion is even though some dirt gets thrown on your dream, instead of letting it get buried, you keep shaking it off. You keep moving forward. You keep looking for new opportunities. You wouldn't be having that opposition if you didn't have something great in you. If your dream wasn't alive and on track, right on schedule to come to pass, you wouldn't have so many things coming against you. That dream is still alive. You may have tried a year ago, 5 years ago, or 40 years ago. Didn't work out. Nobody was there to help you. Go back and try again. This is your time. This is your moment. Your destiny is calling out to you. Can I tell you, your dream is not dead. It's just not in season. Your time is coming. Promotion is coming. Good breaks are coming. Promises you've been standing on. Dreams you've been praying about. Lack is not your destiny. Constantly struggling, barely getting by is not the end of your story. These light afflictions are for a moment. The adversity is temporary. The glory is eternal. Lord, I believe this is my year to get healthy and whole. This is my year to meet the people of my dreams. This is my year to go further in my career, to step into a new level of my destiny. This is my year to accomplish dreams, to break free from this depression. This is my year to meet the right people. This is my year to get healthy and whole. This is your year to see double. This is your year for vindication, for restoration, for new beginnings. Now get your mind going in the right direction.
Here's the secret. The people that do the most with their lives, the people that seem the most self-assured, the ones that seem to embody confidence.
Hey guys, how y'all doing today? So we've got a lot of people on here. Christo Garcia, I'm just prepping. We still got a few more minutes before everybody else comes on board. We are going to be reviewing the 7 sacred steps of the over-the-top miracle swing. And I was watching that video and I was getting super duper pumped up because I'm like, I just had this flashback to where I was in the year 2010. And if somebody had told me in January 2010 that this is going to be your year, that you're going to become the golfer that you want to be, I just don't know if I would have believed them, because I was so frustrated. But a lot of you guys know my journey. I was a frustrated golfer for all my life until my 40s. And just to let you know, I bought this book, this book by Ben Hogan. So we're still waiting, going to let some people come on board here. I'm going to go into the comment box and see if anybody's here. If you guys are here, go ahead and post a comment. Let me know I can hear from you. Maybe tell me where you're at. Just tell me your name. So at any rate, we still have a couple more minutes before people start coming on board. So I just wanted to let you guys know that you can always chat with me, ask me any questions. That's going to be a big part of this. And I want to be able to make sure that this is the year that you can play the best golf of your life. This is the year. Terry, just one book. Well, Terry, if I could turn my computer, you're going to see a lot of golf books in here. But I have to tell you, hey, Greg, I have to tell you, this is the book that launched 1,000 videos, 30 million views on my YouTube channel. I swung as Ben Hogan on the golf channel. Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable what happened to me since I bought that little book. I'm going to be going through this whole story more in depth. Oscar! Hey, brother, where are you from? So, yeah, that book was a purchase of desperation. Salvador, let's go! Ron from Arizona. Ron, I just had 2 knee treatments. So I had to take a couple months off. I had PRP for my knees. I was feeling so much pain going up and down the stairs. It was totally bugging me. I'm going to grab something off my back here. This is an award I won for my filmmaking. I just see it poking out behind my head, and it's driving me bananas. And of course, I've got my brand new Father's Day box of Titleist Optic Yellow Pro V1s. That's what I play golf with. So, all right. So at 6 o'clock, I'm going to, again, just talk to you guys a little bit, just let some more people filter in. I see we've got quite a lot of people in here already. Today's webinar is about making your dreams come true on the golf course. Now, I've been able to do it. This is something that had hurt me deeply to my soul, because I loved golf my whole life. I just couldn't play it. Golf is hard. That's about all I can say. So I'm wondering if you guys, if I was able to guarantee you that you'd get better at golf this year, would you take the offer? It's a pretty simple thing, you know. If you could be better at golf, would you jump at it? If I told you, let me ask you another question. Oscar, good to hear you. Been searching for a reliable swing forever. I think this is what I've been searching for. So Oscar, I'm curious, have you dabbled in it? Have you seen any of my YouTube videos? Oscar says, I've been searching for a reliable swing. Same here, brother. You know, the thing that really blew me away is I didn't get to the miracle swing until 12 years of researching the classic swing. And I was playing golf with Steve Elkington in April. In fact, I'm going to be playing with Steve Elkington again next week. You know, PGA champion Steve Elkington. He won the Players Championship twice. And he told me, he goes, Christo, you can have a whole puzzle put together and be missing one piece, and you'll never complete the puzzle. You'll never be able to see the full picture. And that was so remarkable coming from a major winner. Oscar, woohoo! Awesome. So Oscar has the 7 sacred steps of the over-the-top miracle swing. So I'm happy to go through them. So if you have any questions while we're going through it, I'd love to hear them. It's funny that to me, because I guess I'm the author of the 7 Sacred Steps, that I'm like, it's so obvious, blah, 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 blah. This makes so, doesn't this make sense? And people will be like, but I don't understand this little nuance. I'll be like, oh, I guess that is a little nebulous, if I'm not there to explain it for you. So that's what this webinar is all about. I'm going to teach you the simplest and easiest way to hit a golf ball. Period. End of story. It's the last swing you're ever going to have. You're not going to keep searching YouTube. You're not going to keep buying programs. This is the simplest and most effective way to play golf. And the proof is it's the original champion's golf swing. Now, we've got enough people on board right now. I want to talk about the miracle swing. So let's see here. If I go here, okay, I'm going to go ahead and make myself a little bit smaller here. Okay, you can see right here, I called this the original champion's golf swing. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next slide. I'm going to let this register for you for a little bit. All right, Thomas is here. Am I a hitter or a swinger? I'm a switter, Thomas, a switter. That's a swing hitter. And I think that's what Hogan was. He was a blend of the two. Mike from Napoleon, Indiana. Good to have you in, Mike. We're having some fun here. So you'll see this little picture here. I'm not going to explain it, but I just want you to look at that for a moment. And I'm going to come back to this picture after I present to you what the miracle swing is all about. And then I think that this picture is going to make a little more sense to everybody. But just for now, it's kind of a funny picture of a guy out in the middle of the ocean. Looks like he's standing on a little tiny island in the middle of the ocean. And he's trying to catch a fish. He's probably pretty hungry. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the next slide now. Let me go here, go to the next slide. So let's talk about me. I'm here to talk about my frustration. I'm going to tell you something. I had one dream. And when I was 40 years old, I wanted to break 80. I started a journey in January 2010. I was 40 years old, 41. I wanted to break 80. I've loved golf since I was 8 years old. I played on my high school golf team. Even playing and practicing as a youngster, I only broke 80 twice, and that was as a teenager. And then I didn't play golf in college. And when I came back to the game, it's like I was starting from scratch. I went out and I shot over 120 with my high school friends. I put on such a display that was embarrassing to me, throwing clubs, cursing, being the center of my own drama on the golf course. Just, woe is me. Why can't I do it? I was so embarrassed. I quit the game of golf and swore I would never play golf again. Does that sound familiar to any of you guys? Have you ever felt like you just want to quit the game? You love it, but it hurts so badly you want to quit? If you felt that before, I want you to listen to this story. So 1997, I was living with a roommate named Hal. Hal's a great friend of mine still. We keep up on Facebook. And he was a golfer. And he's like, Christo, you should play golf again. I'm like, nope, screw it. Never playing that game again. Well, what rolled around was the 1997 Masters. You may remember Tiger Woods played in that event. And I sat on the couch with Hal and I watched Tiger Woods shoot 40 on the front nine on the first day at Augusta, 4 over par. I was like, oh boy, Tiger's, not looking like he's going to make it. And you know what Tiger did on the back nine in the first round? He shot 30 in the back nine and made it in the clubhouse 2 under par, went on to win the Masters by 12 freaking shots and set a record, stamped his name in the history books, and the rest is history. And I picked up my golf clubs again. Now, I knew I was going to suck. I made one promise to myself. I would always be a gentleman. No matter how badly the golf became, no matter how painful and embarrassed I was, I'd never throw a club, and I'd never lose my mind cursing like a madman, okay? I still get ruffled if I hit a really bad shot in a high-pressure situation, but my friends that I play with, they're like, you never get mad, you know? So that's the way I played. I played that way for the next 14 years, okay? Now, this leads me up to our story. The first thing I want to tell you about here is my buddy George, when I picked up my game when I was 28 years old, he took me out to play golf, and I shot 126. He made me keep every stroke, and it was 126 on a local muni. We're not talking about Marion. We're talking about at Rogers Park in Tampa. I shot 126. Couldn't even sniff breaking 80. The best round I'd had with multiple mulligans, me and my buddies would give each other one mulligan aside. I shot an 83. I don't know how good that was. It was still, you know, pretty sketchy because of mulligans. I could only hit a ball 250 yards, and that's if I smoked it. And at the time, I was strong, fit, worked out, karate guy, all this other stuff. And I just was totally embarrassed. Now, the thing that's kind of crazy about this, now I mentioned that I was a karate guy. I just want to show you about a minute of what I used to do in my life, okay? Golf is a sport, and I believe I'm a pretty coordinated and athletic guy, and I just couldn't for the life of me understand why I couldn't play golf well. You can turn on those celebrity golf tournaments with the greatest athletes in the world, football, baseball, basketball, hockey players, and so many of them can't play golf, okay? It's a difficult and challenging sport. But real quick, I just want to show you a minute of a little bit of my background. So I've always had this fascination with movement. The beauty of movement, whether it's a good basketball player, wide receiver, you know, a great pitcher or home run hitter, somebody who can smash a golf ball, martial arts, dance, yoga. All of these different forms of movement are just spectacular and beautiful. And they all have a flow to them when a person achieves a high level of mastery. And that is due to the fact that the body becomes very economical in how it operates. You don't take extra force because it would take more force then to slow the momentum of a certain transitional movement. You have to have a flow to your movement in order to be able to do it efficiently. And all right, so I just wanted to share that with you because this isn't my first sports rodeo. I was the Florida Open karate champion, Florida Games karate champion. I was the state champion as a junior before I became an adult. I was invited to be in a karate movie after I won the Florida Open. That's how I wound up in Los Angeles making television shows, and that led to golf and a YouTube channel. I don't know how all that happened. That's just the way it unfolded. But the point of the matter is golf is hard, and I had a very difficult time doing it. But all my dreams came true. Now here, I just want to show you a little sneak peek of the miracle swing why we're all here today.
Well, that was easy.
Do you believe in miracles? Thousands of golfers all around the world are already believers.
I believe in miracles.
Get ready to experience the fastest growing movement in golf. Brought to you by golf sensation, Christo Garcia, the man who swung as Ben Hogan on the Golf Channel.
The top 10 winners in the history of the PGA Tour are all over the top swingers.
You just found something, in my opinion, that was just hidden right underneath our noses.
Today, golfers all around the world are finally discovering the truth about the golf swing.
There we go. How does that feel?
Oh, thank you.
It just looks so easy.
Shot a 69.
Wow.
It's clicked in. So this whole inside over the top deal is just makes it so much easier.
The 7 sacred steps of the over-the-top miracle swing is a course specifically designed to end the swing confusion that modern golf instruction has created. Now's your chance to join the fastest growing movement in golf. Get ready to believe in miracles by saving over 50% off the retail price with our pre-sale at miracleswingexperience.com. You'll believe in miracles too.
All right, guys. So I saw a bunch more people came on in the comments. I just wanted to say a quick hi real quick to Mark. Thanks for coming out today. Ted from Vero Beach, retired firefighter. Thank you for your service. And Jonathan. Wow. So Jonathan said he watched your video on YouTube, broke 83 times, but it's hard to stay consistent, mostly mid 80s. Okay. Well, that is good to know. So let's see here. How do I put that back? Hide. All right. So guys, what happened in my life, I'm going to tell you real quick. In the fall of 2009, I bought 7 drivers in 3 years. Okay. Thinking that was going to fix my slice. This book right here, 5 Lessons, was by the cash register, $12. This is the exact book that I bought right here, filled with all my notes in here. I've just got everything highlighted. And in 3 months, I shot 79. First time in 20 years, I broke 80 in March 2010. Then I broke 80 14 times that first year. This is after being a nightmare golfer. Like I could easily shoot over 100, 110. And then I shot a low round of 74 that first year. Unbelievable. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then something happened that was kind of crazy. I fell asleep on this arm after Christmas. I only had one more round of golf for the year. The next day, I woke up. I couldn't lift this arm at all like this. I went to the golf course anyway, and it forced me to get my right side through the shot. I got home, saw myself on videotape because I was using my flip video camera. And for the first time, I had that extension that looked kind of like Ben Hogan. And I was like, oh my God, that's the Hogan secret. That was a Hogan secret because I couldn't throw my left arm at it. I had to rotate my body to get my right side through the shot. And I decided that I was going to start a YouTube channel called My Swing Evolution. Now, this is really, really great. My first video was called Finding Ben Hogan. Now I have over 1,200 videos and almost 30 million views on YouTube. In 2014, I broke par for the first time. And then I did it again the next week. It was just like all of a sudden everything started to change. But there was something that was really crazy, and that's when the Golf Channel hired me to swing as Ben Hogan's double. That opened up doors for me that were crazy. I got invited to Jack Nicklaus's house. I've been to Gary Player's house. I've had all these wonderful things happen, but nothing's more wonderful than the miracle. So what is the miracle? Let me just show you some of these guys' testimonials real quick.
I'm working on the over-the-top miracle swing.
Look at that. Yeah, I shot a 72 with Balboa, and it was easy.
Feeling good. That felt very comfortable.
Right on.
No pain.
My clubhead speed was always like 85, and it's reading 105. What club is this? Yeah. OTT, baby.
So guys, the secret for me is over the top. Okay, so I've been doing all this talking about my crappy old golf swing. I'm going to show you a comparison video of my old golf swing, and you're going to see it next to my new golf swing.
Snead.
So guys, honest question. How much would you pay for a transformation like that? To go from being an average 90s player to being able to break par and compete with the best players in Southern California week in and week out. I would have paid $1 million freaking dollars in 2010 if somebody would have told me, Christo, here's, you know, a little magic fairy dust and all your golf dreams are going to come true. I was a straight up hack. As a hack, and I changed my life, and you can change your life too. And that's what's so important about the miracle swing. So let's go to this next slide here. Golf instruction goes through fads. I'm 55 years old and I'm playing the best golf of my life. Okay. In the 45 years I've been playing, I've seen a lot of them. Single plane, stack and tilt, the A swing. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with those ways to swing. I've tried them all and had, you know, some success, but nothing close to the over the top. And the over the top miracle swing has stood the test of time. From Bobby Jones to Victor Hovland, they're doing the same move. This move is coming back with a vengeance. Scotty Scheffler is a little in and over. Brooks Koepka is in and over. Matt Fitzpatrick, U.S. Open winner, inside and over. But the fad for the last decade has been this idea of looping it under. I actually got caught in this trap, okay? I got caught in this trap, and all I could do was hit a trap hook because I was so far back here, all I could do was hit a trap hook. And it's just crazy that one day I read a tweet from my friend Jim McLean, is one of my good friends now. We text and talk often. He tweeted in January 2022, my old roommate at the University of Houston, Bruce Litsky, is what I refer to as an over-the-top flusher. Okay? So I'm sitting there on the driving range, January 2022. I'm hitting hooks all day long. It's the only shot I got. And I said, you know, Jim said that Litsky was an over-the-top flusher. And I remember that swing is inside and up, and he just went over like that. Like Craig Stadler did, like Hale Irwin did. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go over the top. Like, what have I got to lose? I had avoided over the top like it was the plague. Like I would die if I did it. I was so brainwashed by the golf media that over the top is bad. I avoided it at all cost. I hit my first over-the-top shot, absolutely flushed it. I smoked it right at a flagstick, and I'm like, what? I ran to my camera. There's a YouTube video. I'm like, oh my God, that was the most solid shit. That was the most solid swing I ever hit in my life. And I did it again. I did it again. I did it again. And I haven't done anything else since. Okay. along that time, I've been out to see Jim McLean. He paid for me to come to Miami to talk to him about it. He put me up in a hotel, and he and his wife took me and my wife out to dinner. And we talked about over the top Litsky. He gave me a golf lesson, the whole 9 yards, okay? I've talked to Brian Manzella about it. I've talked to George Gankus about it. They get it. This is a real golf swing. Now, I want to show you the miracle right now, and you're going to be shocked, I believe. I'm going to show you the top 10 winners in the history of the PGA Tour, and I want you to tell me how they move the club in transition.
Sacred step number 4 is the miracle move. This move is going to unlock your championship potential. I've found the best way for me to be able to continue to rotate is inside up, slightly over, down, and through the shot. This miracle move changed my life. That was as pure as anything I've ever hit in my life. It still freaks me out. I can't believe it works so well. Hey guys, let's take a look at the top 10 winners in the history of the PGA Tour, starting with Tom Watson.
I figured out the golf swing in 1992. I got tired of hitting the ball fat. I got tired of hitting the ball out to the right. And I said, to hell with it. I'm going to hit over the top of it like this. I want that ball to start straight. So I changed my golf swing right then and there, and it felt like this. It felt like that. But what happened, it was going here and here like this.
So if we take a quick look at Tom Watson's swing, we can see that now he is a committed over-the-top swinger. Next we have Phil Mickelson, one of the all-time greats, and we can see he takes it back to the inside, and he is also an over-the-top swinger. Next is the great Walter Hagen, inside and over the top. Now if we take a look at Billy Casper, we're going to see one of the most underrated players in history with an over-the-top golf swing. Next is Byron Nelson. Look at that move. Arnold Palmer is another great champion. He is also inside and over the top. Now my idol, Ben Hogan, was the one who surprised me the most. Here we see him inside and over the top. Jack Nicklaus, whom I had the pleasure of interviewing in his home, is also inside and over the top. Now that brings us to the great Tiger Woods. Here he is rehearsing his over-the-top move, and although he doesn't have a big over-the-top swing, after he hurt his back, he made a decided effort to swing more OTT. And finally, we have the great Sam Snead, one of the greatest over-the-top swingers of all time. And there you have it. The top 10 winners in the history of the PGA Tour are all over-the-top swingers. And the reason why is because the best way to leverage the club is by going over the top. Guys, isn't that an absolute revelation? It's unbelievable. This whole trend of shallowing, dropping it under, all this business, it's a fad. It will disappear. But what will never disappear is the original champion's golf swing. Bobby Jones did it. Sam Snead did it. Guys do it today, like Kyle Berkshire, the world's longest hitter. Okay? I'm talking to him now. I may be going to visit with him in July when he's going to try and hit a ball 600 freaking yards. And he goes over the top. It's the most leverage you can get. It's the way you throw a baseball. It's the way you serve a tennis ball. It's the way you swim. It's the way the shoulder is designed to work. You can get more leverage going over than under. Okay, so all this dropping under business, it just made my golf swing inconsistent. Going over the top allows you to get more leverage. Okay, so now let me just go ahead and keep this train moving, because I'm going to come back to the 7 sacred steps. But this little picture right here, this is a phrase that I got from Tahiti. It's a man standing on a whale fishing for minnows. The entire golf industry is standing on a whale fishing for minnows, when the answer to consistent ball striking was never that complicated. It was right in front of everybody's eyes and nobody could see it. Okay, guys, the easiest way to hit a golf ball is inside and over the top. Okay, now I'm not saying over the top and out to in. If you can take the club back deep to the inside, over the top, and still stay inside that target line, you can pound the crap out of it all day long, have all the leverage you're ever going to ask for, and you're never going to be questioning your golf swing ever again. So the deal is with me, I'm still refining this move. Some days are better than others, but not once since I started going over the top have I ever felt like I didn't have leverage on the club. Have you ever felt like you're at the golf course and you just can't get any compression on the ball? You're like, what the heck's going on? Why can't I compress this golf ball? Like yesterday I was smashing it and today I'm not. Okay, it's just a biomechanical problem. Okay, and if you're kind of like in the gray area where you don't really know what you're doing with your swing and you get a little underplaying, you're going to be goat humping, flipping, all this stuff, and you're never going to get it. Now, I do say something to my students. I say, golf is a fine art. It's an art that's been passed down from teacher to student for generations. A fine art like the violin. I could go to a driving range, hand every golfer a violin and say, okay, guys, everybody practice. I'll come back in a year and I want to hear some music. Guess what? I'm not going to hear any music because they don't have any technique to learn how to play the violin. It takes a master-student relationship. For me, it was Hogan who was the guy that I look up to, but I know all the best instructors in the world. I'm friends with David Ledbetter. I know all these guys. I had Butch Harmon's brother, Bill, send me a video of his dad, Claude Harmon, and his over-the-top swing. Bill said, my dad had an over-the-top swing, and he won the Masters. So even the Harmons, the Fazios are aware of what I'm doing. It's just absolutely crazy. But I know that I'm onto something. This is the biggest movement in golf. People are picking up on it. I'm hearing people on broadcasts, Brandel Chambly, Mark Immelman. Oh, he's got a little over the top move and all this stuff. And a lot of players are playing like that today. You bet they are, because it's the easiest way to leverage the club. So that takes me to the over-the-top miracle swing. I'm super duper proud of this 7-video series, and I'm going to explain how it works to you right now. So we're going to start. I'm just going to start at the beginning here and just explain. The first part is a simple setup. Now, if you guys have ever watched video of Ben Hogan, what you're going to notice, the way he sets up to the ball, I'm going to be standing up, demonstrating, and all this other stuff. When you see Hogan set up to the ball, he has this look where he's set, where he looks like he's like a coiled snake, okay? We got to get into a position where we're going to be able to coil our body, and we're going to be able to unload that force down into the golf ball. 90% of the golf swing is done before you take the club back. I'm obsessed with my setup nowadays because the setup is what's going to guarantee your success. So when I played with Steve Elkington, he had one comment for me about my swing the last time I saw him. And he goes, Christo, swing's beautiful. Absolutely perfect, mate.
But I've got one question for you. When I see you hit these shots, I'm not sure if you're hitting a draw or a fade. Okay, so what he wanted me to do with my setup was set up closed for a draw and make a commitment for that inside out path. And he said, if, you know, or he wants me to hit a fade. He goes, Christo, master those 2 shots and you're going to be playing a whole nother level of golf. And yesterday I was hitting it pretty darn well in the big skins game. There was a lot of money on the line. My playing partner and I beat our other 2 partners, a couple pros, and the foursome that we were in beat the team that we were playing against. That was coming up right behind us, you know, stacked with Class A golfers. It was so great. I had so much fun playing golf yesterday. I dropped some bombs on those guys. I had 9 putts on the front 9. It was absolutely crazy. But anyway, sidebar. Let's get back to a simple setup. 90% of the swing is taken care of before you take the club back. Okay? You have to understand how to set up to the ball. One of my favorite tips is I want to have heavy feet. Okay? I want to feel like, have you ever had like your uncle or somebody, big brother, try and lift you up when you're a little kid and you get all heavy and sink down into the ground? You want to be rooted into the ground. The ground is where you're going to get all your power from. If you jumped off of a diving board with a golf club in your hand and tried to swing it, you're not going to be able to move that club with any force at all. It all comes from the ground, and it all comes from a simple setup. Okay? So we want to set up in a way that we're going to be able to leverage the golf club. And the key thing I want you to remember is we're going to be bringing that club back to the inside. The inside takeaway is crucial. So I call this the deep takeaway. I sometimes say inside takeaway, but the deep takeaway is essentially what all the great pros from the past did. And this is the one thing that golf instructors do not teach today. There may be a couple out maybe in the middle of Texas or whatever, but I'm telling you, I don't know of just 95% of golf instruction says if the club head comes inside of the hands at P2, oh man, we got to fix that. So they would have fixed Sam Snead, Bobby Jones, Raymond Floyd. I could go on and on down the line. There is nothing wrong with looping the club head from the inside over onto the plane. That's the key, is putting it onto the plane. So what we want to do is I say we're going to rock the baby. I feel my weight in my right heel as I go back. If I put my hands across my chest like this, if you guys are fathers, I am, got 2 beautiful girls. If you've ever rocked a baby in your arms like this is all you got to do. Honest to God. We add rock the baby to a little weight shift into our rear heel, trail heel. Just going to rock the baby just inside and up. I can do this the same way all day long. This is what Sam Snead did. He just rocked the baby just inside and up. So the deep takeaway was taken away from the world of golf in around the 1980s. When video cameras started to show up on driving ranges, I took lessons with David Ledbetter when I was a kid, and he put me on videotape. And then he played it on a little tube television, and he had one of those dry erase markers, and he was showing me my swing. He's like, you're over the top. You know, the reason why I think the golf swing changed was this notion came out in the golf magazines and in elite instruction with video cameras, because we could really finally look at our swings, you know, without having to buy a movie camera. And they decided that, you know, swings that stayed on plane were more aesthetically pleasing. You know, Jim McClain says that, you know, he's like, you can go inside and over, outside and under, or on and on. And I've always been an on to on type of teacher. And there are fine players that swing like that. Adam Scott swings like that. It's very aesthetically pleasing. But when I see Adam Scott swing,
I always feel like he's wrestling the club as it gets around his body, like he doesn't have the ownership of his swing like a Ben Hogan or Sam Snead or Bobby Jones even. You know, it's like those guys, they put that club into orbit and they owned the centrifugal force all the way up to the very end. The club was never swinging them. But the deep takeaway breaks that perfect plane look, you know, of a backswing. That's why they started to teach everybody to keep it on. You see those tilted circle boards where you stand in the middle and you try and keep the club on that thing? I think I don't care for them. I'm not going to be disparaging. I do not care for those. I don't think they help you at all. I think they hurt you. If I'm going to throw a baseball, I want to coil and wind up. I want my back to the batter, and I want to delay that. You know, if you don't coil, you're giving up precious power. That's why Kyle Berkshire, the longest golf hitter in history, his longest ball is 578 yards. He did it in Wyoming at high elevation on this course he's going back to in July, and I'm talking to him about filming that because there's a 620-yard hole that he thinks he can drive it. If he gets a little wind at his back, he thinks he can drive a hole that's 620 yards. Isn't that just so crazy? It just makes me laugh. But he takes it inside and up, okay? That's how you get leverage. Now, let us talk about the third sacred step, the power shift. If you look at Ben Hogan, and in fact, I use him specifically in the video number 3 in the 7 sacred steps, Ben Hogan has the biggest power shift you ever saw. His hip, it like travels this far. He goes so far to his lead side. In fact, I think, let's see, Jim McLean was telling me that about one of the old timers that he studied with. He said nobody was as lateral as Ben Hogan. Okay, but people don't teach that today. They teach a much more center pivot swing, which, okay, it works for a lot of people. In fact, Hovland doesn't have a big weight shift. But Hogan shifted to his left side, then blasted out of that lead leg, long drive style. That's how he made that work. I have found that the power shift is the most crucial step, especially with my driver swing. If I want to have easy leverage and pound the ball without having to try and create artificial speed with my hands and arms, I'm going to power shift. I want to take it inside and up. And this is my phrase. I want you to remember this. You can write it down. As you lift, you shift. I'm out on the driving range giving lessons all the time. I look up and down the driving range, and you know what I see? I see people weight shift back, and on the downswing, they weight shift forward. Okay? If you're trying to time this swing with your weight shift, you will never be a great golfer. It's just too hard to time. Great golfers, once they get to about left arm parallel, they're moving forward as they complete their backswing. Okay, inside up, as you lift, you shift. Now, I don't have to do anything except uncoil. Can you see how simple that is? But I have to get my weight to my lead side with my power shift, or else I'm going to be in timing jail. Timing jail sucks. I've been there in my life. We don't want to try and have to time our release, our hands, the club head, and all that stuff. We just want to rotate like a door. And once you get loaded into your lead side and you're all set, then you just unwind. Okay. Now this takes me to sacred step number 4, which is the miracle move. So let's talk about it. The over-the-top miracle move is all about getting the club back in front of you. Okay, so you've coiled, you've shifted, you've got the club up in the air. In order to load into your front leg so you can explode out of it, I've found that we want a little over the top move. Okay, what I don't want to do is go like this. Okay, as soon as I go under, then all of a sudden I'm tilting. This is where my back trouble comes from. This is a bad place to be. But if you do the little magic move, the miracle move over the top, this does something anatomically that's so crucial. Okay, if I go a little over, that gets this hip out of the way so that I can continue to rotate around. If I go the other way like this and my hip gets here, then all I can do is tilt. I stop turning. Rotation is the key to golf. If we get here, then all we can do is let our arms go. And we're going to be in timing jail. We're just going to not be able to hit anything solid. So the over-the-top move also allows us to get alpha torque onto the club. If you hit a pitching wedge, 9-iron or 8-iron, you want that force on top of the club. We have to learn how to spring the shaft. Okay? If you learn how to spring the shaft, then you're going to get an extra gear in your golf swing for power. So let's talk about springing the shaft in sacred step number 5, which is a perfect impact. Okay? Perfect impact is all about getting forward shaft lean. Okay? You can't hit a solid shot. I'm going to use an iron specifically because driver is a little bit different. You can catch it with a slightly ascending blow. Every other club you want to hit with a descending blow except putter. Okay, so say you've got an 8-iron. You can't hit it solid unless you have forward shaft lean. You can't have forward shaft lean unless you have rotation. If you don't have rotation, you're not going to be able to spring the shaft. If you can't spring the shaft, then you're going to be bouncing the ball off the face of the club. Okay, it's a very weak way to hit a golf ball. But you can see me in my videos, it looks like I'm not swinging fast, but what I do have is leverage. And then the shaft kicks like crazy, smashes the ball, and sends it on that piercing trajectory, just like the pros. All the pros spring the shaft. They know how to make that ball get compressed. Okay, so that's a super duper crucial move. Now I'm going to pull out a golf club and I'm going to show you a little bit of this springing the shaft idea. One of the things I talk about in the video series is the push-pull, okay? And that's, we have to be pulling with our lead side back as our right side, for me, I'm right-handed, is pushing through. Okay, this is what I call the push-pull. Now, if you can't get into a position where you've got some push-pull action, so my left hand is pulling up on the club like this, as my right arm is pushing down and through. Okay? So what this does is it makes the shaft flex. Okay, when you get on top of that ball, you go OTT and you're on top of the shaft, you can put that pressure on it, then the shaft is going to kick, just spring right through the ball. And that's where effortless power comes from. It's such an important part of the swing. Now, what I want to talk to you about next is the 6th sacred step, which is turning the corner. Now, you guys can see I've got 2 golf clubs laid down here. I want to swing the club back along the club to the right, inside and up. And then I want to feel post-impact that I'm going along the club that's on the ground to the left. The ball is at the absolute apex of the swing. I'm going to slam the door, hit it square, and that club's going to keep coming back to the inside. So listen up, guys. If I had a door Okay, I'll imagine this is my door. I can slam that door 10,000 times. It's always going to land in that door jamb square. But after it hits the door jamb, it's going to come back to the inside, right? It's a circle. You are going to irritate yourself for the rest of your life if you think you can chase the ball out towards the target line. Let me tell you something. Oh, it breaks my heart. I'm a fan of Johnny Miller. He was one of the greatest ball strikers in history, but he started saying this stuff in the late 2000s. Chase the ball down the line. These guys chase the ball down. Like, what is he talking about? Well, he was talking about trying to get guide the club face down towards the target. And I had a teacher teaching me this at the same time, a fad that lasted for like a few years or whatever. Worst ball striking of my life. That club has to come back to the inside. If you look at Ben Hogan, Sam Snead, or Bobby Jones, that club is whipping back inside. They're turning the corner, and that club is coming back inside, okay? This is the secret of the over-the-top move. Now, we're breaking this down into parts, but let me see if I can explain this a little bit. Got my shoulders here. The swing, there's two halves of a swing. There's before impact and there's post impact, okay? So we want to take the club back inside and up, rock the baby, okay? We're going to lift and shift, and then as we make our miracle move, we're going to get this left hip out of the way. Ben Hogan said the first move is left hip out of the way. And then this is what our OTT move does, is it gets our left hip out of the way. And that's going to allow us to continue to rotate around our lead leg. Let me say it again. Inside and up, over the top, and around that lead leg. This is what I see on the golf course all day long. People going like this and like this. There's no rotation. Their chest is wide open. You can like hit a little BB out there like 180 yards if you're hitting it like this, but you're never going to hit it 300 if you can't get around through the shot, around this lead leg. Let me see if I can show you like this. Boom. Boom. This is what we're trying to get to. OTT gets us in a position that gets the left hip out of the way so that we can turn and rotate through the shot. This is what it looks like if I tilt. Can you see? I lose all my speed back here. I can't maintain speed unless I'm going around the corner. Oh my gosh, I love teaching this stuff. I'm going to take a second and look in the comments because I bet there's a billion of them. Okay. So strong grip, would you say over the top? Not necessarily. I use strong grip, weak grip, depends on the shot, what I'm trying to do and what my ball flight is doing. Let's see. Francisco, I pound it all day long. Cool. Sounds like you're doing OTT. Okay, Bruce said that it's starting to kick in. He has his moments. Jonathan Young looks good on full swing. Does this? Yeah, short game and chipping. You know, Ben Crenshaw was an OTT putter. You know, that's kind of funny. I'm going to talk about that because I'm going to be making miracle short game and miracle putting, okay? And, you know, miracle drive. It's all OTT. Let's see here. Hey, Seb. Okay, let's see here. There's just so many questions. I can't really get to all of them. Let me finish this last slide first, okay? Sacred step number 7 is a free finish. Now, let me tell you the value of the free finish. There are 2 crucial crossroads in the golf swing. There's the transition at the top of the backswing to the downswing, which I say you want to go OTT so you can maintain your rotation. Then the second is a balanced finish. Let me tell you, folks, The sooner you can stick your finishes, the sooner your misses will disappear. Because if you can stay in balance through the swing all the way to finish, just like Ben Hogan, that means that something is very consistent down through the hit. Okay, if you're doing something different and the club's swinging you, you're never going to arrive in perfect balance. So I'm always striving for perfect balance in my golf swing. It's a very, very important thing. Now, folks, I do want to mention that I put a link in here. I'll do it again for the Miracle Swing. I do have a special going on right now. It's over 50% off for the 7 Sacred Steps and the 24-minute introduction with appearances by Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Jim McLean, Jackie Burke. I was the last person to interview Jackie Burke, the PGA and Masters winner, before he passed away in January. It's really the honor of a lifetime. But Jackie Burke was an over-the-top swinger. That's why I wanted to go to Houston. And now I'm very, very close to the Burke family, and they got me Masters tickets for my wife and I next year. Very, very excited about that. So I'll be going to the Masters on the Burks. But guys, that's the essence of my presentation. So I'm going to look at these. There's so many questions. Wow. So 4 summers golfing, already shot an 83. Just build a little structure into your swing, man. You can break 80 and you won't look back. In your particular case, since you've only been playing, I guess, 3+ years, get as good right now as you can possibly be. Okay? Because that's where you're going to play it the rest of your life. It's much harder when you're a golfer like me that had been playing for 30 years and ingrained so many bad habits that I had to completely start from scratch. And if I had any advice for you, my friend, I would say watch the 7 Sacred Steps. There is so much research in the 7 Sacred Step program. That alone is worth the price, because I break down and analyze all these classic swingers, and I show you why it works biomechanically. It's simpler. It's based on a throw. It's why beginners and amateurs and children all swing over the top when they first pick up a golf club. That's the natural way to move it. You just have to understand how to do OTT correctly, and you can play stress-free golf for the rest of your life. But also, by the way, I hurt my back doing that shallowing stuff. I fell to my knees. I was afraid my golf career was over. No kidding. This was like 2 months before I discovered OTT. So it's very gentle on your back. I honest to God believe it's the easiest way to swing if you're struggling with any back pain. It's the most effective. It actually works on, short game and chipping. That's a whole nother conversation. I saw some people talk about that. Dave asks a great question. I just saw it. Let me hit this. Boom. Oops, that's not what I meant. Boom. They keep moving away from me. Okay, Dave, can you talk about hitting it left? Okay, I'm going to talk about being drunk with power with OTT. Okay, most people, what they struggle with is they can't get compression on the ball. Okay, then they go OTT and they go bam. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm hitting it with so much force and power. But this is a normal progression with OTT hitters. Okay, they feel so much pressure on the shaft, they start crushing it, and then they start doing it more and more, and they start hitting pulls to the left. Okay, they go over the top and they go way too far, and it's real easy to start hitting pulls to the left. That's why I talk about slamming the door. Okay, so you see Justin Rose do this drill a lot, where he pumps it without opening his shoulders. Okay, I want to go OTT to square. If you get OTT to here, that's bad OTT. That's when you start to hit hard pulls to the left. And if you leave the face open, you know, you can hit that banana slice. So it is a natural part for a lot of golfers. I've been through it myself. I'm like drunk with power. Just, I'm going to hit this, you know, 7-iron, 180 yards and stuff. So, oh, somebody asked about my Achilles. Yes. James, previous subscriber, compressed the ball well, but getting tired, lost rhythm, slice happened. Okay, he asks if OTT requires body fitness support. Personally, I want to stay in shape because I want to play the best golf of my life into my 80s. I have my Miracle Health program. I lost over 30 pounds. And once I did not know how to eat. I was even a certified personal trainer, and all the stuff they taught me was garbage about fitness and health. But at any rate, yeah, you don't have to be in great shape to do OTT. So guys, that's all the time I have allotted for this. But I want to ask you guys, if you could play the best golf of your life, if I could guarantee it, would you do it? Would you make the commitment? I'm asking you, pick up the Miracle Swing, the 7 sacred steps. I have a personal money back guarantee. Okay. If you can't figure out how to hit the ball solid with this method, it's the easiest method that I've found in all of my journeys. I will give you your money back. There is 0 risk to you folks. I hope you'll pick up the over-the-top Miracle Swing. I'll put another link in here in the comments. I'm so honored that you folks listened to my presentation. My dreams have come true on the golf course. I want yours to come true. And I believe with all my heart, the best way to swing a golf club is the original Champions Golf Swing. It's the over-the-top Miracle Swing. Richard, we've been friends for years. He's been a part of this journey from the very beginning. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you. I love you all. I hope you hit them long and hit them straight.